Hey everybody, welcome back to Conspiracy Theories and Chill. I'm Sean. Come on in. We're going to start in just a minute. If you're watching this later on, start it around the 1 minute mark and you'll be right at the beginning of my little rant. But this is a conspiracy theory show where we talk and hang out and talk conspiracies. I have a rant planned for you, but after that we can talk about whatever you want. But come on in, share, invite your friends, remember to subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll start in just a minute. But thanks for coming. This is a participation show, so remember to comment and take part in the conversation. But welcome back. Like I said, this is Conspiracy Theories and Chill. This is a new show for YouTube anyway. I have been doing it on Facebook for about 2 years, but I've just brought it over to the YouTube channel, and hopefully it will catch on and grow a following over here because I like doing the feeds from YouTube. I like the opportunity to grow my YouTube channel and to increase our viewership by doing live feeds. They seem to be successful so far. I mean, I'm a baby channel, so I'm basing it on my current subscriber level, which is about 850. I'm shooting for 1,000. That's my immediate goal. So if you have any friends that you want to recommend the show to, that if you like the show, recommend it because I want to grow my channel, and this is a good opportunity to do that. Hey, brother. Owl Angel said, "Hey, brother. Hey, brother. How you doing?" But I got a rant planned for you, and today's rant is going to be pretty in your face because we're running out of time, and we're going to have to start getting really serious really fast. Today's rant is going to be just like the title of the video. We need to eat the rich. We need to stop lollygagging around. A handful of people are destroying our world. They have names and addresses. We know who they are. So why are we allowing this? And a lot of you that are woke and aware will say, we're not allowing this. We're fighting back against it. But when I say we, I'm talking about the grand we, all of society. In the large scale, those that are woke, there are a lot of us. There's more every day. There's a great awakening happening, and it's a beautiful thing. But there's not as many of us as you may think. We're overplaying our hand if we think we can lay back and just be woke. There's more to the job, and it becomes a job. Once you wake up and realize what's happening in this world and start to realize the truth, it becomes a job. It becomes a responsibility. And I will explain more on that as the rant continues. Because we as a group are allowing this to continue. We as a group, humanity as a whole, are allowing this to continue by being silent. And our silence is our consent. Now, again, a small group of us are vocal and loud, but we need it to be a larger group. We need to reach the tipping point. And we need to literally eat the rich. We need to devour them. Their greed needs to stop. And it has to stop soon. People need to realize that we are running out of time. Literally. The planet itself is running out of time. Most scientists agree that we are, 10 years out from a complete climate crisis? This is on us. It's time for us to end the greed and destruction that is taking place to benefit a few hundred people at the expense of 7.7 billion. There are more of us than there are of them. And it's on us. This is fully our responsibility. No one is coming to save us. We are the ones that we've been waiting for. There's never going to be a better time. The clock is ticking, and every second that you wait, that we wait as humanity to take back the world from these greedy bastards who have used their power and influence and their money to control all of the resources on this planet. It's not enough for us to be woke. We have to wake the others. When you're woke, when you realize what's going on, whatever brought you around to being woke, your job now becomes to wake the others. It's your responsibility. You can't know these things and sit on your hands. You have to embrace that responsibility, move forward and wake the others. And that is hard. Some of us understand that, but are frustrated, wondering how do we do that? How do we wake the others? Well, we're up against a lot. And I think we need to keep that in mind when we're trying to wake the others, when we're trying to wake and inform people, or when we're sharing information that people are rejecting. We need to realize that they are rejecting it because of their cognitive dissonance. Their brain is defending itself because they've been indoctrinated and brainwashed since birth, since they were little, since they first started learning anything. They've been flooded with this brainwashing of society to accept things the way they are and to not question. They're trained to not think. You're not educated, you're indoctrinated. You're trained to repeat information. Free thought is not encouraged or rewarded. You are trained to regurgitate what you're fed in. And what you're fed in is a bullshit version of history that is full of lies and propaganda and misinformation. And we're fighting against all of that. So I think what we need to do is keep that in mind and soften our approach. I think a lot of times, and I'm guilty of it myself, we come at people too hard, you know, because we realize how bad things are and how much we are running out of time, how literally it is becoming too late to do anything. And it frustrates us and it frustrates me. And I've been guilty of it before, of just lashing out and just, you're an idiot, you're a brainwashed sheep, and blah, 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 and all the names you want to call them and anything like that. But what we need to realize is once things get to that level, once you start attacking, they're not listening to you anymore. They're just waiting for their turn to talk. You're not informing them, they're not absorbing the information. So I think what we need to do is to sprinkle the truth. You got to sprinkle it because we try to violently shake people awake, and that just triggers their defenses and they shut down. Like I said, they're not listening to you anymore. Nothing you're saying is getting through to them. So you got to sprinkle it and be persistent and stay vigilant. You're making cracks. You need, it's hard to satisfy yourself with that, but it's where you're going to have to satisfy yourself. And that's unfortunate, but it's just a reality because we're battling against such a powerful propaganda and indoctrination machine, probably the best on the planet. Americans are the most attacked with propaganda and indoctrination, I think, of anyone. We feel like we're so free and we're slave. What we really are slaves that can't see our chains. You know, but you got to stay persistent and vigilant. Don't give up. Yes, it will be harder and require more energy to take this different approach, but you can't give up. This is what we got to do. We need the average people to wake up, and we need it to happen at a faster pace than it is happening. So we need to be the media per se and battle the mainstream media because they are filling the average people, the people that we call sheep, with lies, and they're misleading them and convincing them that reality is something other than what it actually is. We do literally live in a matrix. If you think about it, we live in such an age of deceit that the average person is so misled and misdirected, they have no idea what's actually going on. And so waking up is painful. You're shaking off a lifetime of lies and misdirection. And it's hard. And we need to remember that. I know it wasn't easy for me, and it was a gradual process, but I came to it on my own. you know? And sometimes I wonder, is that the way it has to happen? You know, you have to come to it on your own. You have to drop your own defenses. You have to be ready for it when you're ready for it. Because the actual truth of what's going on in this world is frightening and it can be overwhelming. I've been told before that people believe in conspiracies because they're comforting and helps explain the madness in the world. It's not comforting, you know, to understand that a couple hundred people are crippling society and suffocating and starving people and destroying our planet and have free reign to do so, and the laws don't apply to them and they are untouchable. That's not comforting to know that, to understand that. What would be comforting is if we would do something about it. And our numbers are our only strength. So we need to wake as many people as possible. We need to reach a tipping point to where our numbers are finally enough that real change can start happening, that real progress can start happening, and that we can put a stop to the evil that's going on in this world. We see the evil. You can't not see it. You're surrounded by it. It's everywhere. But as I've said, the power behind that evil is a limited number of people. And that's why they spend so much time and energy into dividing and distracting us. Why they have always divided and distracted the populations. Those in power understand that if the people unite, their system comes crumbling down. They can't overwhelm the power of the people united. That's why they make sure that the people are never united, and why they keep you so separated and divided and so squabbling with each other, blaming your neighbor for your problems instead of acknowledging the bigger picture and seeing what's really going on. Instead of ever looking in that direction, they have you looking in thousands of other directions. And they have you broken into teams and convinced that that's the smart way to play the game. When really, you have to join together. You have to look at the greater good in order to take down the beast that is controlling us all. But we have to rise above the propaganda and the indoctrination. We have to drown it out. That's what we have to do. It's it's a huge task and it won't be easy, but that's how we win. That's the only way we're going to win. We'll never win by just being woke and leaning on that and understanding what's evil in the world and understanding what's wrong, but not doing anything that needs to be done in order to put a stop to it, to end it before it ends us. And that is not that far off. But we need to increase our numbers and take back our world by force before we can't, before it's too late. We're running out of time. We have to fully embrace our responsibilities as the woke. And being woke, as I've said, comes with responsibilities. It is now your job to wake others, as many as you can. You're only one person. I'm only one person. We can only affect what we can affect. As long as you're fighting and spreading the truth and doing your part, you are amazing. But we just need to be more effective and help more people understand that they need to be more active in waking up the masses. Because we're taking on, as I've said, a huge propaganda and media machine that has immense power and a huge hold over the average person's opinion and consciousness. And we got to be the media and crush that media. We got to drown it out. We got to expose them for the liars they are, help people realize that they're being brainwashed and exposed to dangerous propaganda, in place of news, disguised and masquerading as news, when really all it is a weapon to distract and divide. So basically, the main point of this whole ramble has been that we, the woke, need to get loud. And if you're already loud, get louder. If you be honest with yourself, if you haven't really put your foot down and said enough is enough, and decided to start spreading the truth and waking people up, do it. You need to. Your effort is what we depend on. Because if we don't, nothing will change, and we'll just be here watching the world burn. And that will be the only benefit of being woke. Does that sound like a benefit? Like we all waiting to stand around and go, "I told you so." Because I don't give a shit about being able to say, "I told you so." I want to be able to look at my grandkids and know that they have a future on this planet. Know that they're not doomed, and that I did everything I could do to make sure that the corrupt, evil sons of bitches that are controlling and dominating our planet were put a stop to. We can stop them. You don't have to allow this. But what it's going to take is waking up as many people as you possibly can. But that's my rant. That's how this is going to play out on these YouTube versions for a little while. Until I figure out how to do video, I'm going to rant or do a rant on a specific topic or conspiracy, but for about 10, 15 minutes in place of the video until I figure out how to get a video to play at the beginning of the live feed, because I'm just learning. I'm just now learning and figuring out how to do the streaming software and how to live stream on YouTube. I have a lot of goals in the future for the show where I want to simultaneously stream to Facebook and YouTube. And I also want to figure out video, figure out how to do split screen and have interviews and have people on. But got a lot of things planned in the future for the show. But if you're digging it, like I said, share it, invite friends, tell people about the show. I'm trying to grow the YouTube channel and grow the show. I would like to grow our audience and get more people excited and involved and help wake up more people. This is my way of doing my part to wake people up, but just whatever you can do, as long as you're doing something, as long as you're sharing truth and putting effort into progressing our world, you're a warrior, in my opinion. You know, it's just can't sit on your hands. You can't do nothing. You can't, especially if you have this information. If you realize all that's wrong in the world and you see all the evil in the world, you have to do something about it. And really, sharing truth and spreading truth is sometimes it's hard. You get into a lot of little debates that are very repetitive. You have the same discussions over and over again, but it didn't take much effort. I mean, you just click share and then respond to comments. It's not that hard. James says people don't like to be called sheeple, but that is what I see. Wake up, people. No, it's what I see as well. It's what I see as well. And it literally, in a literal sense, it's what they are. But I'm saying that we need to realize how they got to be that way. They're not bad people. You know, a lot of them even feel like they've kept themselves informed. They watch the news. They participate in politics. They stay informed. By God, I listen to Rachel Maddow every night, and I know what's going on in the world. Well, no, you don't. You have no idea what's going on in the world. You have a skewed perception of what's going on in the world. You have the establishment narrative. You have the approved version of what you're allowed to know. They don't know that. They turn on the news, they feel like it should be news. And there was a time when it was, but the media was weaponized. Um, well, the CIA infiltrated the media in the 1950s, Operation Mockingbird. And their final goal, expressed by William Casey, the director of the CIA, was that they would know their mission was complete when everything the American public believed was false. When everything the average person believed was a lie, that would be when they had completed their mission. And that's what the media is for. The media is a weapon to misinform and misdirect and divide the population, to control you, to brainwash you. And that's what we're up against. Not to mention a lifetime of indoctrination, being trained to absorb and repeat for your entire education system. So you're fighting a lot. We're fighting a lot, and they are sheep. I was a sheep before I realized what was really going on, before I woke up, you know. But I'm saying we need to understand how they got to be that way and keep that in mind when dealing with them, because we're fighting through so much. It's just an insurmountable task, it seems at times, but we have to fight. I have to fight. I can't not fight. I can't sit on my hands. I have to do everything that I feel like I could do in order to try and make the world a better place. This happens to be the way that I feel is best right now to do that. And, I would like to see it catch on and grow, because I feel like this show has the potential to be the kind of thing that wakes people up. You need to be gentle, is what I'm saying, in your approach. And the Conspiracy Theories and Chill show has always been a very open minded show and a very inviting show, and one that, at least for my history of doing it in the 2 years I've been doing it, that I don't get into stuff that is crazy. I've not that I'm afraid of these topics, but I've never gotten into Bigfoot or anything like that. I usually get into real things that you can verify for yourself. I like to do that. I do want to go out on some limbs. I mean, I don't mind having fun. I have had Flat Earther on the show before, and but some things that I'm waiting in the comments for you guys to talk about what you want to talk about. What's your favorite conspiracy? What do you want to get into? This is the time of the show where I lean heavily on the comment section. So if you're here, go ahead and comment and let me know anything you want to talk about. And I'm going to tell you about some things we have upcoming on the channel. I'm doing research right now on the Battle of Dulce. And I don't know if you're very familiar with that. I wasn't very familiar with that before it was recommended to me. It was recommended by a viewer. But it's a battle that supposedly took place in an underground Air Force base with aliens, between aliens and the military. It's very fascinating. So I want to get into that in a future video. And I'm probably going to tie it in with the Battle of Los Angeles. I don't know how familiar you are with that one, but that was a real life event that happened around the same time as Roswell incident and all that alien stuff. But they convinced, through the use of holograms and deception, they convinced that the people and even the military that they were being invaded by aliens. Al Angel asks, what's my opinion on all these school shootings? Well, that's a difficult question, especially to sum up into a short answer. But they are, a lot of people are hurt and have been hurt by all of these school shootings, and they are real. When people say that something is a false flag or staged, doesn't mean they're saying the event is fake. Now, is every school shooting a staged event? No. But I feel like a lot are. The ones that get heavy media exposure, I feel are. A lot get swept under the rug. It seems like when they have a neatly packaged shooter, They promote the shit out of the story, and then some of them just get underreported like it's nothing. And I don't know if that's that we've gotten that used to them, or if, my wild hair, spidey sense conspiracy vibe is right, and that the ones that are staged events with planned patsies, which I feel are used. I don't feel MK Ultra program ever stopped. I believe they still train and brainwash assassins for use in these different events. And I think that those type of people are involved in these shootings a lot of the times. The other side of the coin is that a lot of these are real events. And in those instances, I think it's been a result of things that have been brewing over time, especially with how we've taken away the right to defend yourself. When I was a kid and you were in school, you got into fights. It's an unfortunate part of reality, and it was an unfortunate part of growing up, but it happened. Now, they it's almost like they protect the bullies, because it's kind of hard to prove you're being bullied and you have no recourse. You're discouraged from defending yourself. So, in that environment, you unfortunately get this result. So, it's a little bit of both. And I find it ironic that the same people that are up in arms, a lot of these politicians are just actors, but they are always so up in arms about, the rights of a fetus and different things like that, but are silent when thousands of kids are being killed in school shootings. So I find that extremely ironic. But my opinion on these school shootings is that they're awful, and they are a symptom of greater issues that instead of addressing, we've swept under the rug and are blowing up in our face at the moment. And then B, some of them, and not just school shootings, but like the mass shooting that happened at those mosques recently, I think are staged. You know, not staged in the way that they didn't happen, but staged in the way that a patsy was put in place and motivated to do a horrible thing. And then people will twist that into you're saying they didn't happen. I'm saying I don't trust it. You know, uh, and it would be specific shootings in general that I have that opinion on. It's not even all of them, but as I said, all of them don't get reported heavily. Some get swept under the rug, and it makes you wonder why. You know, you'll spend all day in a 24-hour news cycle talking about Trump, but barely touch a school shooting, or report on it all day long. So whenever something's, that heavily propagandized, especially when it's being done through a propaganda machine, I just have to question it. It's just in my nature. But my opinion is it's awful. No matter what's causing it, no matter what's happening, it's awful, and it's weird that we can't talk about things like sensible gun control when we have such an epidemic in this country. I saw a stat shared, but I saw it on a meme, so I don't know how accurate it was. But I saw a stat shared that more children have been killed in school shootings than have died in the last 10 years in battle, than soldiers that have died in battle. I don't know if that meme is accurate, but if it is, that's very disturbing. And I don't understand why it's not more of a priority or a problem to those in power. I do understand it because they have so much money coming in from the gun lobby, but I don't see anything wrong with sensible gun control. I understand defending your rights and standing up for something like the Second Amendment because I feel the same way about the First Amendment. I would defend the First Amendment um, as vigorously as I possibly could. So I understand standing up for your rights. But how important is it to have super cool guns? I understand having guns, but do we really need AR-15s? Do we really need military style weapons in the hands of regular people? And I know what you're saying, that you could kill, or you'll kill a bunch of people with anything. They kill them with rocks if they wanted to. But you can kill a lot more efficiently. Can we at least agree that with these weapons you can kill a lot more efficiently? And are they really necessary? I know they're neat. I get that they're cool, but are they really necessary? You know? But let's see. I hope that answered your question now, Angel. It was a little all over the place, but I didn't know if you were talking about a specific school shooting or just the phenomenon with school shootings in general. James said I'm sticking my head in the sand, not. No, you can't. Once you're awake, you're awake. Unfortunately, there's no going back to sleep. Sometimes I feel like it would be much better I to just not know what I know. It's much easier. You can definitely see why it's attractive to just stay in your norms, stay in your own little bubble, to not ever question or venture outside and make ripples, make a fuss. It's easier just to accept things the way they are. But I think we need to stop doing that because we're living on scraps. We've been trained to believe that that's the best we deserve, is live on scraps. You know, as an American, it may seem, you know, weird for me to say that because on a worldwide global scale, Americans have it pretty easy. So when I say we're living on scraps, I'm including us, but some people in the world are living on nothing. And that is not because there's not enough resources in the world, it's because of greed. And we're allowing that. Just as I said in my rant, we can't allow that anymore. We have to put a stop to it. And the only way to do that is to wake up enough people and use our numbers and rise up. Al Angel says, thank you for your answer to really appreciate it. I know it was a little bit difficult. Said ask, but the fact that express yourself says volumes. Thank you. James says, come on, guys, help get this guy his first 1,000 subs. We are a country, the rich don't want us armed. I hate that the first shooting happened. Deception all around us. Oh, this is the age of deception. We are living in the age of deception. Whether you're looking at that in a biblical sense or a literal sense, it's true either way. You don't have to be religious to acknowledge that everything around you is a lie, you know. But and they've been telling you that. They've been rubbing it in your face forever. They own the media, and when I say they own the media, they own all the media. They own Hollywood and television as well. So it's all predictive programming. So they've been telling you, think about it, ever since the movie They Live. Did you ever see the movie They Live? That's a really good one to watch, where the whole thing is about a guy waking up finding special glasses. And when he puts on the glasses, he can see the world for what it really is. George Orwell wrote about it in 1984, way back. Man, I don't even know when that book was written, but well before he could have known how things would end up. And it wasn't because he was a time traveler or because he could see the future. James says, oh, that's the same comment. I already read that one. I just liked it because it said 1,000 subs. I really want to get to 1,000 subscribers. And what's funny is these live feeds have been popular, but ever since I started doing them, my subscriber count has actually dropped. My peak was 850. Now I'm at 844. It's actually went down by 6 since I started doing live feeds. But I'm not going to give up on them. I feel like the live feeds are a good way to interact with the audience. The the videos that I spend more time on and actually produce a little more effort into making them neat and clean and all that, those are good as well. But I feel like the lives are nice. I feel like it's a good way to interact with the audience and a good way for new people to look at the channel, to bring them in. and it increases the content. I see it as a positive in a lot of different ways. It hasn't caught on extremely good yet, but we just started doing live feeds on YouTube, so I don't expect it to take off right away. It has done well. I mean, my average video that I post, that I put tons of time and effort into and really try to produce, is getting equal to or lesser than values of each live stream. So they're beneficial, and I'm sure that there's no correlation between the drop in subscribers and the increase in live streams, although there might be. But if those people are leaving because I'm doing live streams, then I don't really want them as subscribers to my channel anyway. I want you here because you want to be here. I do this because I love to do it, and I hope you enjoy watching it and participating in it. And if you do, invite your friends, share it, and that's all great. And you can also support the show by by donating if you want to, by becoming a subscriber and a patron on Patreon, or shooting a quick donation through PayPal. But liking and sharing and commenting even all help me, because that all helps me show up more in the algorithm. That helps more people to get to look at the show. So there's free ways to help me, and there's other ways to help out with the show. But I appreciate you just if you're here watching. Thank you so much for stopping by. And we'll talk for a little while longer. Let's see. Owl Angel says, "What's your take on sovereign citizens?" Is that an actual bill or something? Is that? I'm gonna have to look into what that is. I think you've even told me before, but I don't fully understand enough to give a take on it right now. Unfortunately, I apologize, but let me write that down, because I know for a fact that you have mentioned that before. So I'm going to write it down, and I'm going to make sure that the next time it gets brought up, I'm not drawing a blank. But politically right now, I I don't know much about it because I don't follow politics much. I try to stay informed, but I find a lot of it very boring, and I have to force myself to learn about a lot of the politics stuff. And that may be one of those things that I've known I needed to learn about and just kept putting on the back burner. I had given up on politics really until Bernie Sanders. And the only reason why I support the Bernie Sanders movement is because I feel like A, it's a golden opportunity and our best chance moving forward, and B, I feel like we'll never rise up. I feel like we're too spoiled, indoctrinated, fluoridated, brainwashed, whatever you want to say, to ever rise up. So I feel like fighting back politically is the only way we'll ever fight back. And Bernie's got a lot of a momentum behind him, so I feel like it's a really good fight to get involved with. Other than that, I pay attention to politics. Like I said, I force myself to, because I do live streams like this, and because I make videos, and just because I'm a student of history. So you have to you have to keep yourself informed. But sometimes I do let things slip through the cracks, and I think this sovereign citizens things is one of them. But I'm going to look into it, and next time I will know what you're talking about. But anything anybody wants to get into before we wrap up? Any conspiracy that you want to dive into a little bit, have a little fun with? We can do that. There's a few people here, so anything you want to talk about, go ahead and bring up. And also, for anyone watching later or anyone here that thinks of something later on, comment any ideas or any topics you would like to see me get into in the future. I love to get into things that you want to see, and it also helps me learn about new things. I love conspiracies. That's why I do this show. I like going down different rabbit holes. I think it's fun. I don't have to agree with everything, and I'll cover something that I don't agree with if it's something you want to see. So let me know any of that in the comments, anything like that you want to see in the future. Thanks very much for coming by and sharing the show if you did. Like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you next time on Conspiracy Theories and Chill.